dealing with a crap ton of abuse by the local community. It's how it is everywhere in America. If you're homeless, it's horrible. These communities want the money for pretending to help you, but they don't want to actually help you. There's an officer. We're gonna show these situations again. Slow charging, I guess it says. I was gonna try to talk to the people here at this library, but they unfortunately close it too. If I speed as fast as I can get back to the library in Tillamook. Something. Now let's fast forward to the most recent one, right? Right? Okay, that's the video that I'm making right now, this moment. That's not the one that we want. The guy in the picture is the guy from the red Honda Passport. And also his number is on here somewhere. Somebody typed it onto the actual page itself, thank goodness. Or onto the actual video itself. But the one that we're looking for, it's a live video. It's that I just made. It's got this on the front of it. Portland officer assault case dismissed after apologizing for unnecessarily hitting you in the head video. Right? That one right there. This one, gosh, that didn't work, did it? Here, we'll do it this way. I did want to talk to the people at the library here, and I do have permission to be here after hours, which is nice. It says Portland officer assault case dismissed after apologizing for unnecessarily hitting you in the head video. Having to travel for hours to get nowhere, crooks and law enforcement. This is the one. So, what happened to that Portland officer? After hitting that dude in the head. Actually, going to forward to the very end here. And this thing is hot. Hot, hot. I got my clandestine audio recording device on, so it's recording as well. Tough breaks. I was there to try to get paper. I should back it up. Make sure my phone doesn't overheat. I might explain it here. I'd like to probably wipe the wet condensation off of there onto my sleeve on my hoodie. I'll use that, because then that wetness, I can use it as condensation for cooling down my phone, as well as use some of that condensation to build up every time I do it, because it's going to build up on the outside of the milk until it's warm anyway. And then I can use that. Fuck. Oh. Oh, nice. Alright. What are we up to? 4%. At least it's going up. It sucks having to protect myself from predators. It sucks even worse when those predators are law enforcement. People that we're supposed to go to for help, stopping abuse. Come out and abuse us. God, my back hurts. I suppose we should play some of Claire's words right now. Sorry about the beeping in the video, but it's what I got to work with, you know?
part. Hang on a second. I'm in one of the canyons, so all the way back up to Texas where I work. Anyway, yeah, I absolutely understand those situations, and I'd love to testify about it because I had so many situations where basically, like, it's like the Stanford prison experiment on a massive scale out there. It's fucking disgusting. People drive people to madness over, like, power and control. Like, they really get a kick out of controlling the homeless population out there, but then they don't actually want to do anything about it, and so they just push people until they break. And then when they break, they're like, oh, see, this is why you can't function in society. It's like, oh, okay, so you're going to torture me for 4 months, use all my resources, send me in endless loops to go check out other resources, other places, until I have less than I started with. Take away every basic necessity of living and comfort. Maslow's hierarchy of basic needs, man. Like, no shelter, no food. People are going to lose their shit. And you start treating people like they have less than animal rights, you're going to end up with a lot of people that are basically gone feral, and now you're cornering them and threatening them. Of course they're going to fight back. That's not a mental health problem. That's torture.
Exactly.
My problem was that the state that my ex left me in, and his, landlord or whatever, I couldn't quite form proper sentences, and I kept having heat stroke, so I'm really not even sure if the words that I thought I was saying were the words coming out of my mouth. And I can't tell because no one cared to pay attention to that. So I could have, I thought I was saying stuff like, I need an ice pack before I have a seizure, I need water, I'm having heat stroke, and I need help. And I would say that over and over and over, and they'd be like, ma'am, you need to calm down or I'm calling the cops. And then they would stare at me with like a weirdly smug smile, like, what are you even saying? And it's really disturbing because some of these like emergency workers and mandatory reporters are supposed to be trained to see something like that. Like, this basic shit, like how to recognize a stroke, or, somebody having a health crisis, not a mental crisis, or, like somebody starts speaking gibberish and half their face isn't moving. Maybe you should get them to the fucking ER instead of laughing at them and being like, well, if you don't want my help, I'm out of here, which is what happened to me in Vancouver, Washington in a parking ride. I absolutely know that I have brain damage from multiple rounds of heat stroke because people were denying even so much as water to people that looked homeless. And that's insane. There's states where that's illegal to deny somebody a glass of water. And so it just kind of blew my fucking mind that people were just like torturing the homeless population to the point where they break, and then just modifying their own memory, I guess. Like, oh, they were always like that. See, that's why we don't help you. It's like, yeah, but, you can go 4 fucking months holding your shit together and functioning like a normal person, politely trying to seek out resources for, not to be homeless, and, living in a hotel or whatever, and then if you're acting well put together, then they act like you must just be lazy or trying to calm them, and so they don't want to help you because you're not getting crisis enough. And then when you finally hit crisis, you're just acting crazy, or like here in Colorado, I was told that I was going to get.
I was overheating, and I was tired of the beeping.
Help! I got. They asked for. I showed up. I made, promises at the hotel that I was staying at that they were going to get a payment from this local resource, and I show up like an hour before I'm supposed to have this all done, with a one last piece of paper that they asked for, and suddenly they had changed their mind and decided that they had things that they thought were good for my family, except for they didn't. The things that they suggested were so overly complicated and worse And what makes things worse for me and my children is that it was mind-blowing. And so then I spent 45 minutes 45 minutes talking to this director the details, and then finally coming back around again to the point where it was like, oh yeah, no hotel voucher would actually be the best thing. And this lady jumps in, she's like, okay, well, I still think that my beginning setting, that's what we're going to go with. And I had a freaking autistic meltdown about it because, like, it instantly made me feel suicidal because their suggestions, instead of a hotel voucher to bridge a little bit of a gap for me, was...
Whoa, sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
45 minutes talking to this director about it and hammering out the details, and then finally coming back around again to the point where it was like, oh yeah, no hotel voucher would actually be the best thing. And this lady jumps in, she's like, okay, well, I still think that my beginning setting, that's what we're going to go with. And I had a freaking autistic meltdown about it. Instantly made me feel suicidal because their suggestions, instead of a hotel voucher to bridge a little bit of a gap for me, was to put the kids in foster care, go into a safe house, quit my job, so that I could go into this specific shelter. And I was just like, well, why would I do that for 2 weeks? And then try to pick up all the pieces after quitting my job? Are you insane? So, hang on a second. Anyway, I had an autistic meltdown about it, which is what I did in Tillamook, after trying to tell my story, like, in 45-minute chunks, and then having, realized after 45 minutes of talking to somebody that they haven't been listening to a damn thing that I'm saying, and having that multiple times in a row, and blowing away a whole day or three to do it, like, that it's hard to even function, it's hard to track. Like, I get so worked up about it, just thinking about it, that I do swear I'm not talking about things. But then in the office up here in Colorado, like, I was like, God, you're making me suicidal. I just want to drive off a cliff. You're not paying attention. And they're like, oh, you said the S word. And they called the cops, and I swear to God, like, 10 of them showed up to, like, talk about why I'm causing a scene. And I was like, because I just wasted 4 hours of my day trying to explain something to somebody, only to have them pull the rug out from underneath me and basically prove that they weren't listening in the fucking first place, because what they responded with had nothing to do with anything that I said.
I'm waiting on the cops to show up. It might happen.
I had to go get my children from Florida myself because no agency would get back to me. I had to drive all the way to Florida to pick them up. They were covered in bugs, bruises, severely neglected. One of my dogs already died from what looks like chemical exposure, and then the second little dog was, on her last legs, losing teeth and massive patches of hair. So, I just got them back like a month ago. I'm still trying to figure out how to help them with their PTSD. I have massive PTSD. I have to make my kids the priority because they're my responsibility. I'd be more than happy to, go in with you and go in on it with you to say, yeah, these things are happening, and here's what happened to me, and here's what happened to him, and that's how it's, would have to go.
The thing is, there's a lot of this for a reason. At least I'm standing up to these people. At least I'm speaking up, and at least I'm recording the bullying. At least I'm showing that I'm telling the truth. Let's see how much battery we have now. Still only 3%. Alright, so it must have been before that. Weeks here. Alright. Oh, come on, play. People in your community. There we were. All right, good. I did find it. This was just a few minutes ago.
Let's see. If it comes up, I can write it down again.
I was looking for the license plate number.
Video.
I was literally there to try to turn in these predators. Let's see McCormick.
And it's loading up. I got sent a message that says, you need to stop harassing people before you get harassed in a brutally manner. He also unsent 2 messages before I got to see them. But the bully in the video was actually a guy who pulled up. Just started screaming and yelling and hooting and hollering and shouting. Oh man, come on, start playing. There's got to be a way to make this happen. Holy crap, this is hot. Alright, maybe if I turn off my phone. Or sorry, restart it. Maybe it'll work then. That seems to work. It worked the last couple of times.
I'm gonna find my pen so I can write down what time you showed up in the video.
I might just be sitting out here for no reason, because there's a chance the doors on the building are closed on the weekends anyway. That seems to be their MO. They blow me off until Friday. Friday, if somebody shows up at the last minute and says they can't do anything because it's Friday and treat me like I'm a person for not doing anything till Friday. Like, shit, you're the one that showed up at 3:30 on a Friday. I've been at this for weeks here. All right. Yeah, police station is the same exact building as the fire station, right across the street from that place. But that's not why he came over to harass me. See, if he actually believed the things that he was saying, he would have followed the proper protocol, and he didn't. Now that lady laughing about the situation, that's for surely not appropriate. She couldn't keep herself from laughing and smiling. While she lied through her teeth to my face, she just couldn't help herself. She couldn't stop laughing about it. Turns out the day before, the police came and harassed me over that situation. And that was over at the library. Repeatedly, they try to harass you and make you out to be some sort of a horrible person, trying to insinuate things just by their arrival and the way they park in many cases. They like to park in an area in a place that is going to make the biggest scene possible, to draw the most attention.
I also like to tone bully you when you try to turn them in.
Let's see how much battery I got on this.
They will protect your predators. It's called racketeering.
3%.
3%.
guess I'm gonna have to do it this way. I'm just hoping I don't overheat, you know? Which it's probably...
I should probably pause it and let it catch up a minute.
Alright. I wish I had an external battery to plug into. Hot as Hades. Now these police officers here, starting with Holloway, just couldn't stop themselves from being stupid. I won't be able to come back up here until probably Monday night at the earliest. That depends on what happens at court. Now they're going to want the $100 and something. I give them at least part of it. Explain that I'm broke and that I had to buy a new phone and that I'm using it as my speedometer until I have the money to actually fix my speedometer. Not that they're going to care. Let's see, is this phone overheating? Nope, it's starting to cool down. That's good. That's real good. Now let's get the telephone here. See if we can remember what we were trying to look up on YouTube, huh? Might take us right to it. Sometimes it does. Alright, I'll click on the live video here. Bonjour, Officer McCoy.
Hey, Sean, how are you?
I'm not too good, but I definitely figured I had to come down here and get the information that I need to turn in the officers who have been committing crimes against me, as well as the situation at the place there.
Be on at 3 o'clock today. He's who you want to talk to. So,
124.50. $124.50. Now he told me to talk to a sergeant who gets on duty today. Now you're gonna be able to tell his and see why it is that is a bad idea.
as far as we haven't asked me to trespass you for Mr. Nice Guy. That's the one.
So multiple jurisdictions. Now what happened at Mr. Nice Guy? Nothing. Literally nothing. I walked in today. The lady looked at my card, saw my name, and said she couldn't help me. What had I done there? Literally nothing. Now they can obviously, where's that jurisdiction thing? Oh yeah, they can work across jurisdictions if they want to harm you for no reason. And this is blackballing by a community. But it's even worse than that, because I still need to turn in the crimes committed against me by places like, well, of course, back there at the First Steps.
Yeah, I left Mr. Nice Guy. I also recorded the situation. I don't know what I did at Mr. Nice Guy, but I walked in this morning. The lady, she said to me, well, she looked at my ID and she said, sorry, I can't serve you, and I left.
Alright, yeah, I don't know the deal either. They just asked me to trespass you, so that's what I'm doing, okay?
Well, that's the thing about using police to harass me. I know people don't like me recording and telling the truth, but I am recording live on YouTube right now.
Do you understand what a trespass notice is?
I do. I'd like to get your card and also her card as well. I'd like another one. Are you sure you've given it to me?
Yes, I have. It's on video. Can you get a camera?
It's a good thing I recorded
I
the
would like
video.
another one, and I would like her card. What's her name?
Now, so my name's Officer McCoy.
name's Officer McCoy. All right. This is Officer McCoy. This is Officer McCoy, and is your office open today?
No, it's not.
In order to turn you guys in and do it properly, I have to do it on paper, and I have to know who I into. The way that I've been treated the last few times that I've called this in to meet with someone.
Normal business hours, our office is open.
And I am unsafe now because of you guys not doing your jobs, and because of you guys not doing your jobs.
Safe in Warrenton. Maybe you should find somewhere else that you do feel safe.
And you see intimidation to go elsewhere, just like that man yesterday. Sir, there's evidence here that you need to see of abuse by people in your community. All right. Ma'am, what is your name? It is illegal for you not to give me your name. What is your name?
Maybe it's really bad.
Now you see this? Now they're threatening me. They're
Threatening
threatening
to
me with
arrest
abuse
me.
of power. Now what am I supposed to do about this situation? I guess over to the Warrenton Library.
How many other videos we got? Quite a few. See Mr. Nice Guy this morning. Here's the situation there.
I did have my police lights on. I think it's still on.
Yep. That thing right
so I'm
there.
gonna keep it on for a couple of minutes at least, so it can be matched up with the beginning of this video. I got here, the people that I had spoken with before, they're not working today. The lady took one look at my ID and told me, sorry, we can't help you today. So I left. I don't know what it's about. I don't think it matters much. It probably has something to do with being blackballed by a community. But it's not the first time I've been through it.
So yeah, I definitely make sure that I pay attention. Now let's see this other guy who needs to be turned into the community. Let's see. Hopefully Ryan is ready, has a lot of evidence in it. Having to turn in the police chief in Warrenton. A story of pot shop for information. I wasn't happy, but I was on my way to Mr. Nice Guy. Of course, things didn't go well there. I don't know why. There was no rudeness by me. Let me see. The bullying by that man the other day. Bullying, threatening, and harassing. You notice right there, oh, come on, it says, you need to stop harassing people before you get harassed in a brutally manner. I am so used to this. Bullying, threatening, and harassing me. I have to be scared to go to the police.
And started harassing me and cursing at me. It took me a minute to get this thing going. I need help. I need help. This kind of harassment. This man pulled over. He's in the road. He pulled over in the road to harass me and started yelling at me and accusing me of harassing people and telling me to get out of this town. Telling me I needed to leave this town and he's going to run me out of this town. You need to run out of town right now. You hear me? You hear that right there? He's still doing this. You need to run away. You need to go away. You hearing this? He's trying to bully me and harass me and intimidate me into leaving. This is not okay. He is trying to bully me and harass me, same as the police. He needs to stop. You hear this? He's cursing at me and bullying me and berating me, and I'm going to get his license plate number. His license plate number, he's got a red passport. Honda. License plate number VRY 975. And he is threatening me with violence.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you.
He is threatening me with violence.
I'm telling you right now, you need to get the fuck out of this town.
You hear this? This man will not to me and started harassing me and cursing at me. It took me a minute to get this thing going. I need help. I need help in this kind of harassment. This man pulled over. He's in the road. He pulled over in the road to harass me and started yelling at me and accusing me of harassing people and telling me to get out of this town. Telling me I needed to leave this town and he's going to run me out of this town.
You need to run out of town right now.
You hear me? You hear that right there? He's still doing this.
You need to run away. You need to go away.
You hearing this? He's trying to bully me and harass me and intimidate me into leaving. This is not okay. He is trying to bully me and harass me, same as the police. He needs to stop.
You need to stop, motherfucker.
You hear this? He's cursing at me and bullying me and berating me, and I'm going to get his license plate number. His license plate number, he's got a red passport. Honda. License plate number VRY 975. And he is threatening me with violence.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you.
He is threatening me with violence.
I'm telling you right now, you need to get the fuck out of this town.
You hear
See, I
this?
couldn't get over that curb there
This man will not
if
stop.
I wanted to. That curb that was there, I couldn't get over that curb if I wanted to. I literally need that cane to get up that curb at this point. The guy blocks me in, illegally imprisoning me.
He pulled over to harass me, and now he's threatening me and intimidating me.
Can I talk to you for a
He
second?
is wanting to get his voice heard after he pulled over to threaten me. And now he wants to call names. All right, I did not ask for this. I did not ask for this.
You asked for this.
This guy right here will not leave me alone. I did nothing to him, but he is down here harassing me. Get
The
away
library
from
was
me.
open at
Get
the time,
away
by
from
the
me.
way.
You are making it unsafe. You are threatening me and harassing me. I feel unsafe, 100%. You just got out of your vehicle after threatening to assault me. Back up.
I threatened to assault you.
Back up.
When did I threaten to assault
You
you?
also said you was going to run me out of town. Back away
I
from my
said you need to
vehicle.
get the fuck
Back
out of
away. You going to make me?
No.
Are you going to make me leave?
You've been harassing people.
I have not harassed anyone.
Right.
I have not. Back up. Leave me alone.
You have been
Leave me
harassing
alone.
people.
Back up. Stop harassing me. Leave me alone. Back up. Stop harassing me. Back up. Back up. Leave me alone. Back up. Leave me alone. Nobody asked you to stop and harass me. Go away and leave me alone. Go away. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Stop harassing me. Stop cursing at me. Stop. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
You go back over there and video anything right now?
Leave me alone. 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 Leave me alone.
What kind of fucking douchebag are you?
Leave me alone.
Why would I want to leave you?
Leave me alone. 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 Leave me. So he wants to insinuate I killed people, tell me I need to go to a mental institution, tell me he's gonna run me out of town. Of course, he started off with threats of violence. That's what he started off with when he pulled over. And this guy thinks it's okay. Alone! Leave me 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 alone! VRY. I didn't catch the last part of it, but I definitely said it. Where I go. I had to calm down for like an hour before I could even go in.
So then I spent 45 minutes basically, it's like the Stanford prison experiment on a massive scale out there. It's fucking disgusting. People tried.
Now let's take a look at some of the situations. This is the building here. This one. This is the building for First Steps. When I have to walk past a place where people either play victim or do the precursors to playing victim, which is playing stupid. If playing stupid doesn't work, they play victim. Oh, the kids. I wouldn't trust this woman. Let's listen to her, and we'll listen to why. Obviously, these are still just on my phone. They're not actually downloaded to the internet yet because it takes a really long time. And I have to have internet access, and I have to download this stuff to my phone before that stuff will happen. But let's back all the way up. All the way up. See all those videos right there? Yeah, those ain't even it. We have to go all the way back to the 5th for any contact between me and those people. Let's see. 10:57. It's this one right here. I don't think I hit the right one. No, that ain't it. It's the one that's 10 minutes and 50 seconds long. I don't know why. Not 10:57, 10:50. This one here. See, it says July 5th right there. This is after the altercation with Officer Holloway.
Hey, Brandy. Both of them places are closed.
Oh. Yeah. I'm thinking it might be a good idea to hang out in that area because they both open at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, the problem is the police and the other homeless people. But yeah. I'll probably end up heading up there, but they said the library, that the internet stays on, and that as long as I'm not living there, it's alright if I stay there pretty late to try to work on anything on the computer. In my car, of course, because they close at 5. Other than that, the situation with the cop coming and talking to me, that was weird.
Because we're so close, they do come by here often.
Well, he came in, he knew my name, and was asking about a situation.
And she lies in this situation. Like, you can even hear it in her voice when she's smiling because it makes her speech different. She tries hard not to smile, but she just can't help herself when she lies. Just...
He got completely wrong, but the only people I talked to about was you guys. So I mean, it's weird that he would come in and tell me that some guy called him.
Yeah, I don't know, but if you were here tomorrow, he would probably still be coming by.
But it's the fact that he knew.
She just couldn't help but laugh about it. Just couldn't help it. Now, the scenario that she is trying to pretend right here at me, this is called gaslighting. She knew exactly what she was doing, and I spoke up about this.
My name and was talking to me about a situation. If I'd been able to record it, that would be better. It could be.
She's just going to keep on interrupting so that she doesn't hear any details. She wants to try to play stupid. Yeah, okay, well, you go ahead and play stupid, lady, but you're busted. I recorded it.
That's pretty standard.
It's not standard.
Run here.
It's not standard for them to come and harass somebody like that. It's either they got a call from somebody who's elsewhere, or they got...
Those ladies were kind of, sort of, amiable and pleasant, but when that officer showed up and he tried to insinuate that I was wanted for something to do with a murder in Colorado, yeah, those ladies, well, they changed their attitude. Now here you can hear that she's obviously not afraid of me. She's obviously taking humor in this situation. Which, Claire, she spoke up about that too, didn't she? We'll play that again after this.
A call from somebody who's here. The thing with my name and with the situation with Natalie, I get that harassment everywhere I go by cops.
Yeah.
If I don't have the ability to record it, it's not safe for me to talk to them. I don't have a parent or a guardian or an advocate to assist me with that, with turning anything into the police. So for me to even talk to them.
By the way, this is like the 4th or 5th time I've had to explain this to them. When I first went in, I explained it to them. And then when the officer got there, I explained it again, and here I'm explaining it again. They wanted me to go make phone calls to Astoria. Well, Astoria is just going to harass me. Screw Astoria. They're going to utilize other jurisdictions to harass me. Screw Astoria. See, they can do all sorts of stuff across jurisdictions. Lying sacks of shit.
It's unsafe.
Let me see what is still open.
She's going to try to push me onto Astoria.
Behavioral health is still open. They're another one that I put on
A mental health place.
What are they going to do, though?
They're open till 5.
What do they do, though?
But what do they do?
Programs. They offer mental health community-based services. Supported employment program, peer support.
So they provide literally nothing but drug addicts for help. That's what peer support amounts to in Oregon. It's somebody who's strung out on heroin usually, and then they call that peer support. It's very scary. They're supposed to be professionals to help people like me with these things. The problem is that I'm not able to access any of that because I'm literally running around spending all my money getting absolutely nowhere but broke. I'm putting a lot of wear and tear on my vehicle. I'm putting a lot of wear and tear on my body, and I can't turn my disabilities off to make everyone happy. And the problem is I can't jump through the hoops that I'm expected to because of abuse. I can't financially afford this. I can't physically afford this. I can't mentally afford this.
This is why I'm for assisted termination of life.
To hurry up and wait everywhere I go for everybody to give me a whole list of phone numbers everywhere I go. Once I've gotten through that list, I've already been sent back to the original place I was sent to begin with, as well as 8 other places for each one, or 6 other places, or 5 other places, or whatever. This is overwhelming having to do this alone. I try to explain what it's like having to live in my car, and people blow that off and hear their own thing in their head. I'm exhausted with this. This has been 7 years of this. I was told if I jumped through these hoops that I'd get disability and these people would stop, but that's not what happened. Instead, I finally did get disability, but I got it just in time for a whole bunch of people to want to take advantage of the fact that I had an income. There's nobody who protects me from this, and I get blown off at every service that I go to, because if I talk calmly, then people don't think there's a problem. If I have a major anxiety attack over them not paying attention to the fact there's a major problem, it turns into me being treated like I'm some sort of a monster or animal because I'm not being heard. And I can't explain the bullies that bullied me to the point that I want my life to end without people locking me up in a mental facility pretending that I'm attempting to kill myself.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stop bullies, not kill myself. I'm trying to get a safe place for me to go, and everybody keeps wanting to run me around and send me to a bunch of homeless shelters. Have you ever stayed in a homeless shelter? It's horrible.
Just play out completely.
Me too. Officer's name was Holloway, right?
Yes. I did write it down on your paper too.
Yes, ma'am.
See, does it look like there's anything there that I did wrong? It was definitely not harassment, but she was definitely playing stupid. and laughing about the situation. Now, you notice I maintained a professional composure. Professional composure, and she couldn't stop smiling and laughing through the whole thing. She thought it was hilarious, intentionally misleading and misrepresenting the situation. That's why Holloway's body cameras are so important. Now let's go to some more of these. We got a lot. We have a whole lot of these. Let's see, which one of these is from the calls to Nebraska, and which ones are from the harassment here? Let me see. There's been multiple occasions where I've been harassed by these people. Of course, I'm not allowed to say nothing, or I'm some sort of a horrible excuse for a human being, right? Isn't that the way you're going to paint it? Got the audio recording stuff too. I got a bunch of the stuff with the police officers is on the clandestine audio recording device. It's easy enough to download. They do have rooms over there in Tillamook that I can use. It'll have to be tomorrow after court. Law enforcement has repeatedly represented the situation intentionally and repeatedly. That's not my fault. See what this one is.
I'm sorry, the person you were trying to reach has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Please try your call again later. Goodbye.
Oh, come on. Alright, we'll show how the lady from the community liaison or whatever, we'll see how she interacts. This is the video. Hopefully Ryan is ready. This one right here.
Sean?
Yep.
Hi. My name is Cheryl, and I'm the county homeless liaison.
Cheryl?
I used to do that in Boulder.
Did you do that in Boulder?
I did.
I work out of Classic Community Action, which, works towards housing and things. That's the way to go about it.
Keep
Is
changing
go over
the
them, and I heard you didn't want to
subject.
go to Astoria.
No, that's not what I was
Now here's the problem, is that this is yesterday. This is after I've been through 2 weeks of hell at the hands of law enforcement, not first responders, law enforcement and mandated reporters, as well as being harassed by the local community. And that's when this lady wants to show up and start pushing me housing. It's unsafe for me to be here because of the police and the mandated reporters not doing their job. I'm not sure if you're understanding that everybody wants to push me into housing, but the thing is, once it's already safe because of the police and the mandated reporters not doing their job, shoving me into housing and shoving me into housing in an unsafe place. Not only that, this lady is talking to me literally here at the library. Let me show you. All right, see that parking spot that I'm in right there? It's the same exact parking spot. Familiarity, that's right, autism. It's the same exact spot that I'm in right now. It's the same exact spot that guy pulled up right there and wanted to threaten my life. Now somebody was here sweeping the day that, well, Ryan was sweeping that day in the morning when the cops came over, right over here, to harass me. Now the recording with Officer McCoy shows that he did not, in fact, give me one of his cards. It says messages held for review. Peter Summerfield typed, "That guy in red SUV telling you to get the F out of town is not violence, it's rude." Alright, so this guy wasn't able to listen to it apparently. He typed, "Those words are just words from an idiot. Sorry you experienced that." Me too. Wait, I shouldn't be sorry that I experienced that. And by the way, what he was doing was threatening violence, terroristic threats. Also, illegal imprisonment, which is absolutely no fun whatsoever.
And I'm enduring long-term abuse. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on, and I needed people to pay attention to that so that it would not continue to happen.
Right.
I've already filled out.
Meanwhile, I got the stuff recorded from Providence as well, plus the phone numbers to 2 other witnesses that were treated with the same, "Oh, you're broke, go away" treatment. Or "How dare you come to our hospital" treatment. They were pretty nice, sort of. I was only there about 7.5 hours.
Housing stuff elsewhere repeatedly, but by the time that I get housing somewhere, I've already been run off somewhere else.
Yep, Chapel, Nebraska. I finally got housing in Chapel, Nebraska, and what happened? Chris Kurth wouldn't leave me alone, and lots of other people in town kept on throwing beer bottles at me and screaming hateful stuff at me. Popularity in a small town doesn't matter who's right and who's wrong. Now, this lady's name is Cheryl, and she talks to me at the beginning of this.
What county did you come from?
Tillamook. And before there, I was in the Dalles, Oregon. Before that, I was in Hood River, Oregon.
Do you have a housing voucher?
No, I don't. No.
See, obviously I don't have housing. She wants to keep on stopping and asking about housing. The thing is, at this point in time, I was supposed to be talking to Ryan. Matter of fact, her talking was making me worried that he might forget and run home and forget I actually exist. And since he doesn't have a functional phone, that's no good for me.
That's the thing, is that everybody just wants to focus on the housing, but they don't focus on any of the abuse. That includes systemic abuse, and it's nationwide.
He said he was going to run me out of town.
With them, or?
It's a lot of different abuse. That's what I'm trying to get. There's a gentleman here who's getting ready to help me. Hopefully, he said at 3 o'clock to 3:30, I think.
Okay.
Like, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of crimes that have been committed against in this town. I'm a disabled and at-risk adult. For really turn everything into RI. To go to 7 different agencies that I've. And I'm going to therapy all over the place. I'm sick and tired of referring to one place to another, and for people to lie and say that I don't want this and I don't want that when they try to communicate with others, because that's not the situation. The situation is I'm tired of wasting time on more housing and stuff, because I've already been through housing over and over and over again, and there are situations with housing that make it difficult to get housing.
So, what's your number one need, Sean?
My number one need right now is for you to listen to why I don't get housing and why it's difficult to get housing.
Right.
It's because I had to literally break windows to try to get somebody to do something about abuse that I was enduring, including threats, harassment, and assaults in Nebraska over a woman who was killed in Colorado that somebody else killed. Now, just yesterday, I had people out here screaming at me and threatening me. I had the cops threatening me and harassing me yesterday morning over a situation that I don't know what happened. What I know is that as soon as somebody starts playing stupid, I start listening to the fact that they're playing stupid, and I see my way out, because the next thing that they do after they play stupid is play victim. Well, it didn't matter either way, because even though I had on there the one and only time that I'd ever been there to meet them, but then they wanted to, there was a situation where I was harassed by the cops, and I had to deal with that. The cops harassed me at steps over there, and I went to them for help. And I'm tired of getting sent around from one place to another for them to send me to another and another and another and another. Nobody does anything about the abuse that I'm enduring or why I'm enduring that abuse. And a lot of that comes down to nobody wants to look at evidence. The lady who was at the what's the name of the hospital in Seaside? Providence Hospital.
Were you working with Christina?
No, see, that's the thing, is that I've literally made hundreds of calls just in the last week.
See, the whole popping and guessing, and she's not hearing anything I'm saying. She's only hearing her own internal monologue. The words that I am saying, the words that are coming out of my mouth at that point in time, are leaving my mouth, entering her ear, and going out the other side of her head.
Hundreds of telephone calls. I don't know who I've called. I'm having to do it all by myself from inside of the vehicle. Meanwhile,
I'm getting frustrated at this point because she keeps changing the subject and not getting the point. I mean, by this point, it's already unsafe for me to be in this county. Not just this city, but this entire county. The police aren't going to do anything about anybody who threatens or harasses me, or harms me, or assaults me. I have to be afraid to turn it in. Woo-hoo! All right, nice bathroom, huh?
having to deal with people like that guy yesterday who came by and wanted to threaten me and harass me. I got it recorded on my YouTube channel. Matter of fact, I want to go inside right now and grab that so that I can actually show you. Yes, I do need housing, but I need emergency housing where I can sit down with my stuff and actually turn in the police officer.
See, that's the thing, is that they're just going to ignore any and all abuse against me over and over again. With no remorse. Instead of doing something about the abuse, what are they doing? Instead of doing something about that guy in the red Honda Passport, what is she doing? She's trying to just push the housing thing. Now, the problem with housing is what? They're going to try to push the housing. Big old housing list. Takes at least 2 years to get your happy butt in there. Right in these communities, they can fast track you in about 6 months. I filled out that paperwork in Tillamook well over 6 months ago. I filled out the paperwork in Hood River well over 6 months ago. Meanwhile, I wasn't interested in moving here. I was only doing that because that's what I was told I had to do. I want to go back home, and this ain't it. This is where I'm stuck. On the bright side, I am fighting back. Using my brain. Using my recording devices. Using abilities that I didn't have before Natalie was killed. With this electronic stuff.
This town.
Right.
And in the last
Unfortunately, in this county, there is no emergency housing besides Helping Hands.
Helping Hands is an emergency housing. It's raping of homeless people.
Right. And
Do you know how much money that you probably...
She said right. Of course she agrees with that. Every homeless person that I know who's gone through there, nearly every homeless person I know who's gone through there, has talked trash about it. Well, it's the only thing we got. The only thing we got.
You know how much money they take.
I do, but that's all that's available here.
That's not availability.
I know, it's a sad situation, China.
It doesn't protect me from the police. It doesn't protect me from any woman who decides that she doesn't like the look of me. None of this protects me from very real predators. All that woman had to do, you got to hear the conversation with her. That lady from First Steps that started all of this here. How dare I go in for help? Meanwhile, what did Tillamook do? Try to bully me into going elsewhere. What did that guy in the Honda Passport, license plate number VRY975? What did he do? Wanted to bully me into leaving. See, the mental health workers try to talk you into leaving when they realize that they didn't do their job as a mandated reporter and you are not going to let it go. That's because you can't let it go. It affects too much of your life. It affects your ability to stop and take a breather and not have to be afraid that cowards in the community are going to gang up on you when one of them does something wrong. Now you can see very plainly and clearly, as soon as those people started playing retarded, I made sure that I spoke up about the crimes that were committed there and showed where the crime was committed. That way people are well aware. I didn't go knocking on their door, hooting and hollering at them that I was going to chop them up and feed them to my dog or anything like that. Rebecca Gross-Nickel Foley did that to a couple of her predators, though. Y'all could stop this madness. Now there's more in here.
Not just a sad situation. I've got people reported having to go through. The fact is, we're being victimized by the public, and I have to deal with more of it than most. Instead of, blowing it off like it's no big thing, it is a big thing.
It's a big thing. Are you a veteran?
No, I'm not. That's the thing about the abuse that I'm going through is that for me...
Echolalia. She repeats what I said and then immediately changes the subject. None of these people can come off the housing because they don't want to do their jobs as mandated reporters. It takes usually 2 hours or more for them to do that. And none of these quote-unquote mental health workers are going to do that because they have too many patients stacked together. They don't have time. They have less than 10 minutes in between quote-unquote patients because they set you up for half an hour at a time here. 50 minutes in some places. So they don't want to do their jobs as mandated reporters because it'll lose them money. It will lose them money.
They continue to go through and fill out more housing and more housing and more housing. That's not doing any good. My life is at risk in this town now because nobody did anything when I first got here. I was pushed off from the last place. What they did in the last place was also felonious. But unlike most people, I record it so that it's actually documented. The problem is that I have to get a civilian. None of this works without civilian oversight. It ends up being a bunch of mandated reporters saying that they can't report nothing and they didn't hear nothing.
Well, unfortunately, Sean, it's Friday afternoon. What I'm thinking is you've reached out to Providence Hospital.
Yeah, I was going to tell you about the situation.
I work with them.
She probably should have listened to the situation with Providence Hospital because I gotta use one of them rooms tomorrow in Tillamook and sit down. At least I can turn on my phone and start pressing play. Now, as you guys know, the connection in that building sucks. But at least I'll get to press play and we'll get to listen to the audio recording devices without having to do a bunch of special crap to download it onto the internet.
And her and I can come out on Monday. I'd love to say that.
All I did is mention that I went there and you were already going off on something. I needed to explain to you that there are major problems there. I've already gone there.
We have a program called Bridges, Building Better.
What she keeps doing is talking over me and changing the subject. What are the chances that I've already called that Bridges place and had to deal with jurisdictional crap? We'll have to go through the recordings. If I don't have them on YouTube, chances are pretty good in my clandestine audio recording device files, of which there are thousands.
Bridges, it's a good program. And her and I are really, working towards finding solutions for people.
Well, that's the thing, is that it ends up being you telling me a lot of details, but I really haven't got to say much, and now I'm starting to get afraid to speak because you're going to interrupt me with something that you feel is important, that it's important for me as an autistic adult to be able to have a safe place where I'm not victimized the way that I was yesterday and on the 5th and since. Where I'm not victimized the way I was in Tillamook. I don't do drugs and I don't do alcohol, but I'm sent to peer support when mandated reporters have a mandated job to do. By law, they have to do that job. And instead of talking over me and trying to change the subject and send me in 400 directions and housing this and housing that and work with this person and work with that person, no, when it comes to mandated reporting, it's supposed to be done right away. And they're supposed to take it seriously, and they don't. It's just me. That's why the gentleman who was here to help me, I was very much wanting to meet with him before having to talk to anybody, because I literally will just get talked over.
So it's about 3:30. You're meeting him at 3:30?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I come check back in with you on Monday?
Yes, ma'am, I'm still here, but the safety issue because of the police and because of the issues with the general public and their crap, it makes it very unsafe for me. There should have been a guardian or someone of that sort to help me a long time ago. I got disability in October of 2016. That's when it was going back to, but nobody did anything about any of the abuse over it. Like, sure, I'm disabled, but magically I'm not disabled when people want to abuse me.
I don't want you to miss your appointment, and I will come out and meet with you on Monday. Thank you.
What was your name?
I'm Cheryl.
All right, Cheryl.
Now, the weirdest thing about this, you gotta make sure you keep them covered, because if you don't cover them, what happens is this. If I don't cover this, they see what? You see that dog? That dog, we're gonna hold it straight. You can see that. Same thing with this side. So look, if I cover this, they're gonna see what? If I don't cover it, what's gonna happen?
You're doing that shit.
See that dog? Again, it brings the trick. So remember this side.
Oh, there you are. Oh my God, dude. I thought I had a heart attack.
Oh no, I'm still here. I'm just.
Cool. That lady, she comes by and started bugging me about the housing thing, and I'm like, I don't understand why people don't listen to me when I say I need someone there with me to explain it. And then, like that lady, I'm trying to explain to her, hey, I'm supposed to meet somebody, and she just wouldn't stop talking about her own thing. I got it. Obviously, I'm recording right now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I make sure I do for my safety. They got a bunch of kids in there, so. Oh. I thought you said you were going to help me at 3:30.
I would, but
That's all right. If you can, you can.
I can't. Because my mom, for some reason, told so the girl that I'm talking to told my mom about this. And so my mom is telling me if I do this, I'm getting kicked out and I won't have a place to stay. And I can't.
You help me?
Yeah, because she doesn't like me going against the cops, because she's terrified of them, because I was taken away multiple times because of my mom's friend lying pretty much to them. Like, straight up saying that she did all these drugs, but she didn't. And so now I can't do anything, and it's stupid. Because I've been telling my mom that's nothing's going to happen. I'm over the age of 18. They can't take me away. I'm my own adult. But they still won't. I don't know.
I don't understand why they won't just kill me. Like, that would be a lot more humane.
Because No. The system is corrupt and people... I'm sorry, somebody is blowing my phone up. Who is calling me while I'm at work? Not too much, just pretty good, just talking. Yeah.
Getting away from all the noise, they're doing a magic
Josh
show.
there come out.
Yeah. Okay, well, that was awkward. I don't know what the spammed me for.
Maybe they'll watch my channel and see half your face on it.
That's okay.
I get treated like I'm crazy for saying everyone's afraid of the cops.
Oh, no, you're not. I can vouch for that. I'm 18 years old. I haven't seen that much stuff, but I know damn well people are afraid.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest issue is they're playing real heavy on that. I got harassed yesterday, last night. I got that on camera. I needed somebody to go over to the police station with me and help me turn that in. That's the problem with not having anybody and being forced to move over and over and over again. Like this. All people will do is change the subject. And I literally need somebody to actually listen and understand. And understand if I have to call them alone, I'm going to get screwed up like I do every time. That's the problem with being a disabled adult. If you're out on the streets, you're free money for it. I agree. I got all my stuff strewn out on the table in there. I gotta pack it all up and put it in my car. Yeah, it happens. I'm sorry. Everybody's sorry. On the bright side, you're not dead or anything creepy like that.
Yeah.
Dead body stock.
Yep. Thanks, Ryan.
Rebecca Towns type, today's my birthday. I don't have very good birthdays, Rebecca, but I hope you have a good one. He was all apologetic, didn't need to be. And there's more to it than that. It looks like minutes, about the time he quit on that. Rebecca Towns type, thanks, 60-year-old today. Hey, Rebecca, could you help me to turn this in, please? I'm tired of being abused everywhere I go. Not that fighting for people's rights would be a very nice birthday present, though.
Well, take advantage of me for government funding. That's what they do.
No, that one's not it.
Well, that was annoying.
The hotel voucher to bridge a little bit of a gap for me was to put the kids in foster care, go into a safe house, quit my job.
Faster on the cane. Normally I just glide with something about my pinky toes. People are not very accepting in this area.
They are, especially this town. Warrenton is a highly...
All right, 303. I think it starts at like 302 something. We'll start at 301.37. That's Josh here at the library. It's about to get sleepy. Had to clean up my computer.
Well,
You out of here?
I got like 22 minutes to spare.
All right, and it's uploaded or downloaded or updated, whatever it was you're doing.
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing. My computer was doing its own thing, and I just had to let it.
I feel that for sure.
That stinks because I really needed to get a bunch of stuff put together, and it's the only day of the week I got enough time.
Sure.
But
I will say we are open tomorrow until 10 to 2.
Yeah, it's really not safe for me to be here, especially after that guy yesterday. And he's not the first one who's done that. Most of the time they just drive by and yell stuff out the window, like freak, or call me the F word, trying to pretend like I must be a homosexual or something. And people are not very accepting in this area.
They are, especially this town. Warrenton is a highly... I'm not from Warrenton. I'm from Astoria, which is a little bit better, but not much. It's a highly conservative. It's very nothing wrong necessarily with that all the time, but very far right ideology. The people here, which is why our library almost shut down in May, because we are funded by property tax in the city of Warrenton, and so every 5 years we have to get the city residents have to vote to pay for us out of their property tax. Otherwise, we don't have funding. And we almost failed because we did fail to levy. We failed the vote in November of last year, so we had one more chance in May, and we passed it luckily. So we have funding for another 5 years. But people just don't see the value of libraries in this town because they think that libraries are just trying to indoctrinate children into being homosexual, which is not what our goal is. Our goal is to share information with everyone. If homosexuals want to come in here, they are more than welcome to. We have books for them. It's like that's how we have a book for everybody.
You won't be offended if a straight person comes in and reads a book, will you?
Nope.
See, that right there is how, in my opinion, how it should be. But people aren't inclusive of...
Well, and across the country, the drag shows and libraries, which they're not drag shows, they're just reading books. And people think that they're like the drag shows you see on bars and stuff, but they're a completely different thing. These people aren't coming in here half naked reading books to kids. They're coming in full dresses reading books to kids. But we will never do a drag reading time here because we know that our city will not appreciate it and we will not be safe. So
that's one of the things that I've been trying to tell people when I move to an area. They have a lot of ideas about me running around, but there's also the fact that it does make not just me, but anybody around me unsafe. There's also with the stuff that's on the internet about me and trying to paint me as some sort of a monster. Somebody might take that as a target of opportunity. That's one of the things with Natalie that a lot of people brought up. Like, hey, Joseph Michael Lopez might have just seen her post, had a big crush on her, been stalking on her for a while, and took it as a target of opportunity when you pretended you were a creeper.
Yeah.
And, I have to worry about that anytime somebody pretends that I might hurt them. That guy yesterday.
I'm going to start up my car and make sure it still starts. Hopefully it'll stay quiet enough to keep charging and I can still press play.
Was yelling at me. The police came and harassed me yesterday morning.
Well, I will say, just full disclosure, that this library is a city department. So, I'm a department head for the city of Warrenton, and so I have meetings every week in City Hall with the chief of police. He's all. So,
do you have his name?
I do. It's Matthew Workman.
Workman?
Yep. Matthew Workman.
He wouldn't happen to be related to Jess Workman from Tacoma, would he?
I don't know. I know he's got a daughter that's in the police force in Seaside, but I don't know if he's related to anyone elsewhere. But yeah, so he's the chief of police. He has been for a long time. So of course, he likes to keep the department heads all aware of what's going on with people down. So we do know, about like the first step stuff. So I do want to be fully transparent with you that on Wednesday of this next week,
So, We should find out what he knows about the first step stuff, shouldn't we? Yep, that would definitely be an intelligent thing to do.
First steps people are going to be here for a story time at 11 o'clock, 11:30. And so
I won't be here then.
Okay, yeah, just letting you know, because I know that she has seen your car here and she's been concerned. That, I don't know why, but she's been concerned about bringing herself and the kids in here, the 17 kids. I said, I don't think
she's not afraid for them kids. She broke the law. She broke the law. That's what she's afraid of. Consequences for breaking the law.
There's going to be plenty of people here, so you're not in danger. And so just letting you know that, so that
Well, I have the recording of what happened, so I mean, it's not like I'm trying to hurt anybody.
No, and I've told, like I said, chief of police and the police themselves have just said, there's been contacts in the area, and I said that you've been respectful and kind and everything in here, and so you're not a concern to us.
Well, that's one of the things about doing stuff like that. What they do is they'll have somebody call.
I am respectful and kind, usually, every time. Usually with people who are respectful to me. And the people at the library haven't disrespected me. Like that man said, full disclosure.
And then they'll come and they'll harass me. Obviously, I haven't done anything wrong. They already know I haven't done anything wrong. When they harassed me twice up at the Walmart, they never bothered to go look at the cameras to see if anything had happened. They just came to scare me.
Yeah. Well,
and that's a conservative thing. That's the same way in Nebraska. It's the same way in Tillamook. I mean, these are common tactics. But the thing is that when they do that, it scares people. When they do that out front of here yesterday morning, I was afraid that you guys were going to think I'd done some horrible thing.
Was that yesterday morning?
Yeah.
Well, I thought it must have been before we opened, right?
No, it was after you guys opened. Last night was when some guy came by and he was accused me, and he was yelling and screaming and
so that was after
all sorts of hateful words.
Because I heard about that situation. And they were like, "Did you know this was happening?" Like, it must have been after hours. I wasn't here for it. I didn't hear about any yelling or anything going on out there. So, but I
have it recorded. I was parked right where I'm parked right now, and he came up and he blocked me in and wouldn't let me leave. And, I literally was
just pulled
yelling,
up next
leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. But he just wouldn't leave me alone.
Police department.
I guess my policy here is you are just like any other patron. If another patron came in here and said, like, I've kicked people out before that I trespassed people that were awful on there, but I have kicked people out before that have just come in and been terribly rude to me or staff. I've trespassed or I've kicked people out that have been aggressive with staff, and so that's how I do it. If there's any inclination of there's that happening, I'll probably ask you to leave, but that hasn't happened yet, so you're...
The staff here haven't been antagonistic. They're not screaming at me.
You called and wanted to file some complaints?
Yes, sir. Do you have any written complaints so I can...
I can't hear you.
That's right. If you step back a little bit, I'll get out and talk to you like a person. I said, if you step back a little bit, I'll come out and talk to you like a person.
Okay.
You walked up to me respectfully and spoke to me respectfully, which is more than I can say for your fellow officers.
Okay. Well, I understand you wanted to file some complaints on our officers, so I'm the supervisor here, so...
Yes, sir. Let me turn this down. Well, there's a situation.
I'll also let you know you're being recorded, all right?
Well, you're being recorded too.
Okay.
So there's been multiple altercations with your police. They're playing a lot of... I'm autistic. It's not good for me either with the traffic. I noticed you just responded like that.
Yeah.
Motorcycle goes by. You see how difficult that is for me?
Do you mind if I just kind of get down here? So
Go ahead. Here, let me
All right.
pull my other leg out so we can sit on the same level.
Yeah.
All right. So, Mr. Pierce, the situation was I've been communicating with Clatsop County and their emergency services since I've been in Tillamook, because Tillamook tries to run me off to go somewhere else. That's the same thing I'm dealing with here, matter of fact.
Okay.
Thank you, because I was just bullied on the phone again. And
Okay.
on multiple occasions, I'm recording it on my YouTube channel live for my safety. I am autistic and I have Tourette syndrome. If I wink at you, I assure you I'm not hitting on you. I do this with my wrists when I'm nervous, and I shake. I don't have Parkinson's, and I'm not on drugs. Where should I start? I should probably start with the 5th. And I didn't get the ability to record this because my phone was broken, and I had to pay to get it repaired at Dan's cell phone repair. But it started off down there at the, when I was actually in town. One of the places I was told to go because I'm autistic is the First Steps building.
Okay.
And I went in there and they spoke with me and they told me that they help out anybody who's disabled. Which, you know, I hope that's true. And I definitely tried to give them my trust, but I don't trust anybody because of the way the police have treated me nationwide. The way that any mandated reporter treats us when we try to turn in a police officer for doing wrong.
Okay.
It's horrible. So I've got a lot of people here in this town that are recorded that are scared of you guys, and a lot of recordings of that with people admitting how scared they are of you. I suppose the first one I should show you, all right, it's in galleries.
What are we looking at here?
We're going to look at the last time that I spoke with the ladies there. What happened is I was speaking to them about the situation with me literally when I have to turn in a crime that's committed against me.
Okay.
I get sent around in circles and sent to mental health, who sends me up for therapy and sends me to therapy over and over and over again. We never do anything about any of the harm that's being brought against me.
Okay.
So anyway, I wrote this down too. Rebecca, did you watch any of those videos? Sorry, it's one of my YouTube viewers. I was writing down on the videos when I spoke to people. Officer McCoy starts at 1 hour, 24 minutes and 50 seconds. One of the guys who was harassing me, his license plate number is VRY 975.
Okay.
I have his picture. He's actually recorded, threatening me on here.
Mind if I open this a little bit more?
Oh, you're good.
Hitting you or hitting me?
Yeah. Now, I already know I'm not supposed to do that because it allows you too much control. If I need to close the door for my safety,
You just
it'll
tell
be
me if you
difficult.
want me to leave, and I'll leave.
I don't want you to leave. You're talking to me like I'm a person. Oh God, why is it not working? Oh, come on now. All right. And now you know my code.
I didn't even see it, so
All right.
I don't.
Let me see, which video is it? That would be, let me explain to you what happened. I do need Officer Holloway's,
Oh, I see. This guy in a wheelchair. I heard news.
Officer Holloway, when I was talking to them, came in and he said that I was some guy had called, he came in, addressed me specifically by name. Said that some guy had called him and said that I was wanted for questioning in a murder in Colorado, which Natalie was killed, but I'm not wanted in questioning for her murder. Her murderer is in prison. Her family made her life hell and mine as well.
So you must know something about it anyway.
Well, I already spoke to the cops. You should see the crimes they committed against me.
Okay.
Anyway, whenever a homeless person tries to turn in a crime, we're sent to mental health. I've got several of your officers recorded bullying me. Some of them I can show you. Some of them I need a safe place to sit down with my computer and take them off of my, let me see if I can find it. I got a little audio recording device for like hospitals you're allowed to record in, but audio only. And I'm always afraid that my phone might come out and video something, but we'll go all the way back to the 5th. When he came in, mind you, I'm a bit afraid right now. When he came in there and was making those insinuations and saying the things that he was saying, the ladies who were in there, Ashley and Brandy, their tune changed immediately. And from then on in, no matter what I said, they were talking over it, interrupting it, making sure that nothing that I said was heard. They tried to pawn me off on Astoria, just the same way as Tillamook pawned me off on here, the same way that Hood River pawned me off on the Dalles in Portland, the same way that Portland and Hood River pawned me off on, again, Tillamook. I mean, they just keep running me around in circles. The grass is greener on the other side thing, instead of doing their jobs as mandated reporters. So the situation here is that after that officer had left, and I let him know it was appropriate for him to be there when I wasn't able to record, and that it cost me money to get their body cam recordings because I don't have that money. So, let me see, where is it? Every time I turn it sideways, it does that. Here's the recording from the 5th when I was down there. They had me go call all these places that are supposed to help me because they weren't going to help me with the cop coming in like that. But you can hear in this video that obviously I talk to them like they're people. I mean, this is the last time I was down there. I'm also going to show you a lot of the threats and harassment I'm getting now. But he insinuated cut me off from help or resources. And she laughs at me. I'm going to pause it here. The places that she sent me are in Astoria. And she knows that I'm trying to turn in abuse.
Okay.
That's specifically what I'm trying to turn in. So she's trying to send me to Astoria where they're going to tell me that it's out of jurisdiction. This is what I have to deal with everywhere. It's federal. I'm disabled. No jurisdiction is out of jurisdiction. Especially when I'm bullied by law enforcement into moving and the local community. Repeated threats and assaults. Now with this lady, and you're going to hear her speech patterns change a few times because she's trying to say something serious, but she's lying to me, and she's trying not to smile about it. At one point, she actually laughs about the situation.
Probably up there is at the library. The internet stays on. As long as I'm not living there, it's alright if I stay there for the day to try to work on it.
Wind is being an issue for me too. She's trying to smile during that.
Asking about a situation. He got completely wrong because the people I've talked to about it. It's weird that he would come in and tell me that some guy called.
She couldn't help but laugh at me. Now, sorry, here, let me put my foot there. If he actually thought that I was wanted for a connection with something there, then he would have actually done something. There's actual protocols to be followed. He would have followed those protocols if he actually thought that I was wanted in connection even with questioning for a murder in Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, what he was doing was bullying. And it didn't need to happen, and it did make it so those ladies treated me completely different afterwards. Now, this isn't the worst part.
Either they got a call from somebody elsewhere, or they got a call from somebody who's here. With my name, the situation is sadly, I get that harassment where I go my comments. If I don't have the ability to record it, it's not safe for me to talk to them. I don't have the with turning anything into police, so we need to talk to them.
Sorry about the traffic. I'm going to pause it because of the traffic, if that's all right. I'm not trying to be rude by pausing it. It's just when traffic goes by, I can't hear it, and it looks like you have issues too.
So let me ask on this video, are you trying to... you're trying to figure out why the officer told you couldn't be there? Is that what
No,
it is?
the reason that I'm showing you this video is because you can tell I'm retaining a very professional decorum there. And
Okay.
when I leave, it's the same thing. And after this, I also explain on this very same video that I'm never going to stop there again. The same thing, I was in, there's a gentleman at one of the pot stores in Astoria, told me I'd come back and talk to him about a situation. And I went back there this morning. It was a lady I've never seen there before. And she looked at my ID and she said, I'm sorry I can't help you. Yeah, I'm sorry I can't help you today. And that was all that was said. I left. I'm like, as soon as a community starts blackballing you like that, you go elsewhere. So I left. Well, then I get here and they call me and tell me that Astoria Police Department called them so they could have me trespassed from Mr. Nice Guy's pot shop. It's no problem. I don't need their pot. You know, I went up there because I thought it was a coffee shop. That's how I found out about them. But in this video, this is the last time that I'm in their store, or in the, not in the store, in the first steps. This is the last time I was there. There's no yelling, there's no shouting, nobody's being threatened, nothing like that. But then she's having meetings on the on Wednesday with all of the city managers, claiming stuff that is completely untrue. And you know, I would like to get the reading of the minutes as well as the audio recordings from that, because that's not appropriate.
Yeah, that's something you have to ask the city manager or the mayor for. We don't have any access to that on our side.
Well, that's the problem, is that I'm getting run around in circles on all of that, and I've had to go through that in Tillamook as well, and everybody says they don't know nothing, go to mental health. When an at-risk and disabled adult is abused, we're not... Why send us to mental health for them to take advantage of us? We're sent to them because they're supposed to be knowledgeable with disabled people and help us to turn that in, but that's not what they're doing. They're committing Medicare and Medicaid fraud, and I've already shut down 2 communities exposing that. Not 2 communities, 2 facilities exposing that. Now this right here is to show that when I left, it was, I was professional the whole time. She wasn't. And with the body cameras, by the way, how do I get that body camera?
You have to go in and ask for a discovery request. You fill out a form, and then the chief is the one that makes those recordings for you, or the copies of them.
And do you know how much they cost here?
I want to say $10, but
Well, that's $5 less than it is in Chapel. But I do need that. There's also several of them that are on a clandestine audio recording device. I have to find a place where I can sit down and record that down so that I can have a copy to give you guys, because the way that they treated me out at Walmart, the officers pulled the same thing that they pulled here. They showed up, claimed that somebody called them, and that claimed that I was peeking into windows, and they showed up and they, of course, wanted to harass me about that, park weird like they do. And then, of course, this is sending me into a severe amount of anxiety. They come up to me and are accusing me of peeking in windows, and they never bothered to go look at any evidence. So I went in and I talked to Jim at the customer service counter. And he said, no, the cops haven't come in today to talk to us about anything like that. Let me readjust this so that it'll actually stay charging. Oh my God, my right shoulder is screwed up. But the thing is, you know, in these videos, I've been posting for days since I've been here. This is the last time that I spoke with them. It is on January 5th. This is at the center down there. The altercation with McCormick today, when I went down to find out what paperwork, because every time I try to talk to them, they're sending deputies down like McCormick to harass me. And he refused to give me his card. He didn't give me his name. Today he refused to give me his card again, claimed that he had already given it to me. At least I could read his name clearly. But the lady officer that was with him refused to give me her name or anything like that. They were incredible. I have it recorded on my channel. I can actually look it up. That's what I was doing here. On one of my videos at 1 hour, 24 minutes and 50 seconds is when McCoy comes up to my door right over there, because I was trying to turn in the situations that happened at the first steps. The situation, I needed to find out how to get the, what do you call that? The body camera, which You were able to give me that information easily. They've been beating around the bush for 2 weeks over that. It's always somebody else's job, and when I call them, nobody gets back a hold of me until Friday at 3:30, and then they're in a hurry. But at 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 50 seconds, that's when McCoy comes up. That was just today, earlier. He came up, got a really, really crappy attitude with me while he was doing this stuff, and that's not okay. The reason for this video is just to show you that they weren't professional. I was. My voice doesn't raise above that tone the whole time. I'm talking louder to you than I was talking to her. And there was absolutely no issue. Now, this is on my YouTube channel, multiple times posted up now. At that point in time, I didn't have this phone here that I record live on, so I had to just record it on my phone. Well, they assumed that I wasn't able to record anything. That's obviously not the case. But I was hoping I could show you that, at least until the part where I left.
What do they do?
I think it's like a grand total of 3 whole minutes. That's the last time I was there.
So they provide literally nothing but drug addicts for help. That's what peer support amounts to. Somebody who's strung out on heroin.
Or formerly so.
There's supposed to be professionals to help people running around on their money. That's putting a lot of wear and tear on my vehicle. I'm putting a lot of wear and tear on my body. I can't find any
Physical abuse. There's a lot of others.
Once I've gotten through that list, I've already been sent back to the original place I was sent to begin with, as well as 8 other places for each one, or 6 other places, 5 other places, or whatever. This is overwhelming having to do this alone. I'd rather explain what it's like having to live in my car, blow that off, share their own.
I mean, obviously, see the conditions I'm living in. It's inhumane.
I was told if I don't do these hoops that I'd get disability and these people were stopped, but that's not what happened. Instead, I did get disability, but I got a jail time for a whole bunch of people who wanted to take advantage of the fact that I had an income.
I got recordings of that too.
There's nobody who protects me from this, and I get blown off at every service that I go to. And I can't explain the reason for me to the point that I'm on my lifetime without people locking me up in a mental facility, pretending that I'm attempting to kill myself. I'm trying to stop bullies, not kill myself. I'm trying to get a safe place for me to go. And everybody keeps wanting to run me around and send me to a bunch of homeless shelters. If you ever stayed in a homeless shelter, it's horrible. Me too. Yes, ma'am.
So obviously, I leave. I'm not interested in going back.
Yep. Okay.
Once somebody starts playing stupid, that tells me that the next step is for them to play victim. So as soon as they start playing stupid, I leave. And that was the last situation with her. I mean, it wasn't any sort of violent thing, but There's also a woman named Claire Jordan. She's also a victim of this here in Tillamook. She's finally got to Colorado. They took the kids illegally, these different services here. Gave her the whole runaround, same as me. Let's see, what's the name of the video from the day? I'm going to look it up on my YouTube channel. This was from yesterday. It's called Hopefully Ryan is Ready. That's got a conversation with Chris about the city meeting, about the situation with, what is it called? I keep calling it SCIP. That's in Nebraska. It's Sandhills Crisis Intervention Program. First steps. First steps, yeah. All right, so Ryan, doing community service here, was going to help me with that. And this lady here gets completely stuck on that, but that's not the video I'm looking for at the moment. It's the one I was literally just playing, though. But I can do that to get to my channel.
No disrespect, but I'm going to stand up here.
Good. I have a cane. I'm sitting down there. Me too. I have a cane so I can actually stand up. I don't necessarily need it for walking. This is the guy who come up to me, Honda Passport, license number ZRY 975.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if you recognize that guy.
Well, I don't right there. Maybe if I have a better picture of him.
Well, it's a good thing I have a better picture of him. I have that actual situation when it started. It starts off, since you're recording, you can actually look at your cameras, right? All right, because that might help you since you're not writing anything down. I want to thank you for giving me your full and undivided attention. All right, this one right here.
He started harassing me and cursing at me. It took me a minute to get this thing going. I need help. This kind of harassment. This man pulled over. He's in the road. He pulled over in the road to harass me and started yelling at me.
This is the day after they had that meeting. This is yesterday.
Get out of this
The day
town.
before yesterday.
Telling me I needed to leave this town and he's going to run me out of this town. You hear me? You hear that right there? He's still doing this. You hear this? He's trying to bully me and harass me and intimidate me into leaving. This is not okay.
Sorry, I might stretch
He
this
is
next
trying to
one.
bully me and harass me, same as the police. He needs to stop.
Actually, the cops were a bit mean, just to
Bullying
say.
me and berating me, and I'm going to get his license plate number. His license plate number, he's got a red passport. Honda. License plate number VRY 975. And he is threatening me with violence.
When he first pulled up, that's what he started off with, was threatening me.
You hear this? This man will not stop harassing me. He pulled over to harass me, now he's threatening me and intimidating me. He is wanting to get his voice heard after he pulled over to threaten me.
He also accuses me of killing people and a bunch of other stuff.
I did not ask for this. This guy right here will not leave me alone. I did nothing.
I gotta turn on my car real quick. Otherwise my phone will die. By the way, this is all on YouTube now.
I don't recognize him, but I can probably find out who he is.
He uses a lot of hateful words, and he calls me the F word, trying to insinuate I'm homosexual. He accuses me of killing people.
Show me his plate. I got it. VRY 975, right?
Yes, sir, and it's a red Honda Passport. Now, one of the things I was learned when I was younger is what we're supposed to do when bullied. Well, this has gotten beyond bullying. Earlier that morning, police came out here to tell me I was trespassed from over there at the whatchamacallit. I haven't gone over there since the 5th. I have no interest in talking to them, and I said that in the video. Oh, I curse too.
How long does he stay here? How long does he stay parked out there?
He was probably parked about 5 or 6 minutes overall.
Okay.
Because the first thing he did was, I think his words were like, "I'm gonna put my hands on you," which is a weird way of saying you're gonna go touch somebody. And that's where he pulls off.
Okay. Okay.
All right, now then there's.
Well, I wrote down his plate. So
Thank you, sir. I also want to show you the thing with McCormick, and I have it written down what time that starts.
Okay.
This is Mr. Nice Guy in Astoria. I typed Astoria Pot Shop for information. Not happy. I wasn't happy this morning. I was on my way to Mr. Nice Guy to get some information, and I recorded on my little audio recording device.
Okay.
But I walked in, and the guy that I was going to talk to wasn't there. The lady who was there took a look at my ID, said, "I'm sorry, I can't help you today." So I left. And then as I was leaving, I made a video about that.
Is this at Mr. Nice Guys?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, this is after Mr. Nice Guy.
Okay.
I didn't record it inside because it's a private place. Sorry about the ringing. All right, so that was literally the whole thing there. But here, this one right here, Portland officer assault case dismissed after apologizing for unnecessarily hitting you in the head video, having to travel for hours to get nowhere. I believe this is it, and it would be 1 hour and 50 something minutes. Let me see, 1 hour 24 minutes and 50 seconds. That's 1:24:47.
That's fine. But that beeping doesn't bother me unless it does you.
Yeah, I left Mr. Nice Guy. I also reported the situation. I don't know what I did, Mr. Nice Guy, but I walked in this morning. The lady, she said to me, she looked at my ID and she said, "Sorry, I can't serve you," and I left. Well, that's the thing about using police to harass me. I know people don't like me before I tell them the truth, but I am recording live on YouTube right now. I'd like to get your card and also her card as well. I'd like another one. Are you sure you give it to me?
I have the recording shows you didn't.
I would like another one, and I would like her card. What's her name?
She refuses to give her name.
Your name's Officer McCoy. All right. This is Officer McCoy. This is Officer McCoy. And you're Officer today.
That's what I was parked there for when you walked out.
In and do it properly. I have to do it on paper, and I have to know who I've been to. The way that I've been treated the last few times that I've called this in to meet with someone.
Over 2 weeks.
And I am unsafe now because of you guys not doing your jobs, and because of you guys not doing your jobs. And you see intimidation to go elsewhere, just like that man yesterday. Sir, there's evidence here that you need to see of abuse by people in your community. All right. Ma'am, what is your name? It is illegal for you not to give me your name. What is your name?
Right there, they threatened to.
Now they're threatening me.
They threatened to arrest me for asking her name.
What am I supposed to do about this situation?
Who said that?
That was McCormick. McCormick is the one who threatened.
And what did he say? Again, because I couldn't hear it on there, but what did he say?
He said he was going to have me arrested.
Okay.
For asking for her name. I don't remember the charge that he was using, basically because I was yelling. I was trying to get her name. That's my legal right.
You know, but I know you said it's an hour and 24 minutes into your video, but what time is that they contact you?
They originally contacted me at 1 hour and at around 1 hour and 24 minutes.
Yeah, but I know, but what time of day is it? Is it 10 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock? I don't know what time.
This was posted 3 hours ago, so it was probably about 2.5 hours ago. It's 4:06, so that would have been around 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Or yeah, 1 o'clock, maybe 2 at most.
Okay.
Also, the situation with the officer back there, the thing is that it makes it so that I have to go to the sheriff to try to turn this stuff in, and the thing is that the sheriff was already involved in a meeting where they were talking about me. And those deputies, the situations that happened there at Walmart, not just the situation where they showed up, tried to make it look basically like the thing over at the, not Skip. I gotta turn off that beeping or it's gonna drive me nuts. God, what's it called?
Are you talking about
First Steps?
Okay.
First Steps, yeah. And that's not the only occasion. Like when they came right before that guy in the red vehicle was here.
Okay.
That was right after they closed here at the library.
Okay.
But while the library was still open, the officers actually showed up to trespass me from over there. And the thing is that I'm trying to turn them in because they're supposed to be mandated reporters. That's what I was there for.
Okay.
And so they're very angry about that. And I don't care. It's only a $300 fine for them right now as mandated reporters if they don't do their job. But for us, this is literally our lives that this ends up costing. There's a woman named Claire Jordan. She's also a victim of this ongoing abuse. There's a lot of other abuse that I've done my best to show.
Where is Claire at? Is she in the county here somewhere? Or?
No, sir, she had to flee the state.
Okay.
She, not from any charges here, but they did some pretty illegal stuff in Tillamook to take her kids away, and she is a good mother, so she fought hard to get them back.
Okay.
I think it might be this one right here.
Well, I haven't been back. I left there. There was a safety issue, and I left. You coming and harassing me over the vehicle is not okay. I left. I haven't been back in 3 days. I haven't tried to go back. I'm not.
Now, I told him 3 days, but it's literally been since the 5th.
Going back. You are harassing me. It is not appropriate for you to come do this here. Now, what is your name?
My last name is
Burns.
All right. Can I get your card?
I don't have any right now. They're asking me.
I don't have any right now.
Now, these are
Good
the
for
guys
him.
I'm trying to turn in, this department. This is what they do when you try to turn them in. Mandated reporters breaking the law and taking it disabled people. You can tell there are 2 officers there. We're gonna
And
get
this is here at the library where you contacted
This
me?
is here
Okay,
at the library. Yeah, this is
okay.
over at, you park right where you're at now.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, I was having a little trouble telling. Okay, yeah, I see.
And I don't know the other guy's name. Like, I didn't do anything wrong to these people. I've been blackballed in the community before, and it's not all right. Not for law enforcement, not for the guy in the Honda Passport, not for the people there at First Steps. Just because there was officers involved, and just because, you know, it's still their job as mandated reporters.
Okay.
I'm an at-risk and disabled adult. I get money for disability, but I've spent literally almost 1.5 years in the state of Oregon running around spending all of my disability money every single month to places just like this for them telling me to go to Astoria, for Astoria to tell me to go to all these mandated reporters and police officers keep trying to send me elsewhere. Like McCormick telling me, well, maybe you just need to leave. Well, because he's being nice about it. And this lady is being nice about sending me to Astoria. These are professionals. The guy who's a jerk is also trying to get me to move elsewhere. He's obviously being as threatening as possible. Oh, sorry. See, that's after that happened, I did go into the library, like I said, and I let those ladies know exactly what was going on because that was at like 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning, something like that. It was while the library was open. I also got the recording with, I keep calling him Chris, but I'm sorry for that. When I'm constantly moving, I meet so many people, it's hard to remember names. That's why I have to record it. Josh. He's the one that let me know about the city manager meeting. I have that recording on here too. And it's in a video called, hold on a second. It's called Hopefully Ryan is Ready. I wasn't sure if you said 3 or 3:30. At the very end of it is the conversation with, not Chris, Josh, where he talks about the city manager's meeting, about the table talk basically. Her words are being heard and mine aren't, and I'm being horribly disrespected by law enforcement here. The multiple times that I called you guys up to try to speak to somebody as a person, I was bullied by the people on the phone in exactly the same way as McCormick did. I was bullied by the other two officers that showed up. I also was told that I needed to call, since the officers literally told me, and this is recorded on that audio recording device, they literally told me that the police chief doesn't investigate. He's not going to investigate anything. It's literally just not going to happen. I was also told the same thing about the sheriff. When I said that I was going to go down to the police station so that I could do it in person, they wanted to try to threaten, harass, and intimidate me into not doing that. The same thing with the sheriff's department. The two deputies that I spoke there, they also claimed that on multiple occasions that a superior officer was going to call me, and this has been now 2 weeks that I've been waiting for this superior officer to call me. Thank you very much for showing up, by the way. But in between then and now, I've had to deal with a lot of abuse. You know, not every time that somebody throws something at me or starts pulling that stuff do I have my camera out. That guy with the Passat, or with the Honda Passport,
Yeah.
I was shaking like a leaf. I was like a minute and a half of him screaming at me, and I couldn't even get it started, you know. The situation with Officer Holloway when he showed up, I kept on trying to tell him I wasn't comfortable with that going on without me being able to record it, because I don't have the money to go get that, and I have to beg his boss for that. His boss doesn't investigate anything, so what am I supposed to do? Also, you know, I have the issue of, because I look at the ground or the door or the sky, you know, it's difficult to maintain eye contact with somebody. I usually look at the corner of their eyebrow. So then I automatically get treated like I'm lying. And then I do this with my wrist because I have Tourette syndrome. When I'm nervous, I talk faster. Eventually I go, or I have a thing that it's, when I get really bad, I go, I'm just stimming. And
Well, I've heard that actually. I've got a friend that has the same thing, that has that Tourette's, and so I know exactly what the sound is and what happens.
I've been arrested for stimming more than once, and I was bullied with being arrested for stimming the other day. And there's a lot of those that are recorded, but until I was able to get this phone back repaired, I wasn't able to do most of that stuff. You know, obviously trying to keep a charge on my phone even. I'm at 3% charge. The only reason it's still going is because it's plugged in. My clandestine audio recording device, you know, all the stuff that's on there, it's gonna take a place where I can sit down in peace and quiet, just like the cars here keep derailing the train.
Yep.
Or all of these mandated reporters keep changing the subject because they don't want to hear it. As long as they don't hear it and don't look at evidence, they did nothing wrong. The recordings that I have with the officers at Walmart shows that they did the same thing as Officer McCormick did. You know, it's scary and intimidating. I'm an at-risk adult who has people like that guy in the Honda, you know, do stuff like that to me all the time. And a lot of times people will just drive by and scream stuff or throw something at my vehicle. A lot of times I'll see people walking by and you know, this thing's bent because people wanted to smack it a couple of times. Look, this fucking guy, that fucking homo from, start talking crap, you know. I mean, I'm a homo erectus and I'm proud of that. I stand upright, although that's actually not the type of human that we are, but I didn't pay as much attention in that as I should have. And parts of this, Ryan's talking about being afraid, literally right after the first lady that we talked to. Her name is Cheryl. At 0 minutes to 8:14, Cheryl is talking to me. She wouldn't respect my wishes. None of them respect my wishes for them to stop until I'm able to record. Ryan starts talking at about 9 minutes to about 15 minutes about his fears and his mother's fears. I've got a lot of people in this town talking about how afraid they are of the officers, that this is the way that the officers act. You know, it's not like I wasn't informed before I came here, but I've been one end of the country to the other, and law enforcement in most places are like this. You know, the people that we're supposed to go to for help are taking advantage of us. And then, you know, it was an arm and a leg to try to get you here, including intimidation by these folks. And I don't want to be intimidated by cops for trying to turn stuff in.
Right. Well, I agree with that. I agree. Shouldn't be intimidated.
I'm not interested in hurting anybody.
No,
I'm just tired of people hurting me. I'm tired of people threatening to kill my friends and family. I'm tired of people pulling up and saying, "You want me to put my hands on you? Or you want me to put hands on you?" No, I don't. You get to hear that I was yelling. Now, normally that would be against the law, right? Just creating a public disturbance for no reason whatsoever. I was scared. With that officer that didn't give me her name, that's not the first time the officers here have done that. And that's against the law. There's no reason for that. That makes it so much harder to turn her in. I call up dispatch or I get a hold of another officer and they tell me stuff like, "Well, if you don't know their name, then I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to be able to find out who it is. I don't know their name. How am I supposed to figure it out? You don't know their name. Why didn't you get their name?" Or the part where there's an officer already there and I'm talking to the officer. And then later on, when the officer has done something wrong, later on I'm trying to turn in the incident and I get talked over and the officer say, "Well, you should have called 911. The officer was already there. There's no need to call 911. The officer's already there. Now, there's multiple situations that have happened at the Walmart, too. I'm going to try to find a place where I can record my clandestine audio recording device, where I can, you know, actually put them together and send them to you guys. But the thing is, I need help stopping the abuse, and it's not going to stop. If it takes me 6 months to get housing, you know, for here, I've been here 2 weeks, and it was unsafe for me to be here. My second or third day here, it became unsafe. So then, you know, the lady wanted to talk to me yesterday about going into housing. I'm like, it's already too late for that. It's unsafe. The beginning of this this recording here, this is on YouTube, so you can look it up for yourself. It's called, hopefully Ryan shows up, I think, something like that. I also called the non-emergency number because I was told to. They were threatening to harm me for calling 911, like, just stupid. Let's see. It's called Hopefully Ryan is Ready. I wasn't sure if he said 3 or 3:30. At the very beginning of that is when I talked to Cheryl. Right after that, I speak with Ryan, who talks about his family being afraid. There's other recordings in here with Ryan, where he also speaks about himself being afraid and a lot of other people being afraid too of law enforcement here. The good old boy mentality. And at the end of the video is a few minutes with, or not Ryan, Josh, who's the manager here, talking about the city managers meeting they had on Wednesday. When those officers came here to tell me not to go back there, I hadn't been back to First Steps for like almost definitely over a week. And that was right here in the parking lot. And then after that was the guy in the Honda. And, you know, it's the stuff about that city managers meeting is that's table talk. That's making it unsafe for me because they're literally breaking the law to protect people that don't need protected. They don't need protected. I do. I don't have a gun. I don't have a badge. I don't have a house. I don't have a business. I don't own property. Everything was taken from me when Natalie got her brains blown out.
That's a tough one. I can talk to our officers. Here's the thing. Just so we're well aware of what the law is. Okay. So if a business like First Steps or Mr. Nice Guy or any of these private businesses say that they even don't want me on the property, then we have to get off, right?
Yep.
And they don't really have to have a reason. Now, if I come and talk to you, basically I have to have a reason, right?
Yep. Well, that's the situation with community blackballing, is that, yes, I actually understand the legal part of it, that they didn't do anything legally wrong, but it also does show community blackballing here and in Astoria.
Yeah, and I guess what I'm trying to say to you, Sean, is that if an officer comes up, well, if somebody from Mr. Nice Guy or from First Steps, or let's just say it could be anywhere, okay, says we don't want Sean on the property, or they don't want Pierce on the property, then an officer has to make contact and just say, hey, you're not supposed to be back there, okay?
Right.
That's the first part of it. So, that is our job to do.
But if I do that, I get talked over, and I have done that on multiple occasions, in multiple places, in multiple locations. The law keeps magically changing for me versus others, and that is never okay.
And so I just wanted to make sure that we're on the same steps there, on the same level.
I already decided that I wasn't going back as soon as they started playing stupid. I expected that the next step is for them to play victim, so I didn't want them advancing to that next step of playing victim. Not that it matters, they did it anyway.
Okay. Now, on the other side of this coin, to support you and what you're telling me with Officer Holloway and Burnt and McCoy, those three, I'm going to go back and review it's tough. I'm going to go back and review those videos of their contacts with you. And, if they are being abusive towards you, if they are being unright towards you, unjust, or any of those types of things, then I'm going to have to take care of that with them. Okay?
Well, I've got other recordings I'd like to give you as well. I'm going to need to try to get those recordings from them. There's multiple phones that I called from, so if you just check one of the phone numbers, you're not going to get all the calls that I've made. But I'm scared during those calls, and you can hear it in my voice that I'm afraid. So, I mean, I've got to try to go to Tillamook because I've got court for a speeding ticket there.
Ooh, ouch. Okay.
Yeah, also no proof of insurance, but you see I got that now. I did have it at the time, I just couldn't show him and record him at the same time. I'm very afraid of police because of the abuse after. I have problems walking. I have problems with my wrist, have problems with writing because of assaults by police officers after Natalie was killed.
Well, I hope you understand you don't have to be afraid of me, right?
Well, you notice I opened my door for you.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'll keep my door shut. If you want my ID, I'll slide it up through the little crack in my window.
Yeah.
Also, there's the dehydration issue that I'm having literally right this moment.
Yeah.
It's been a hot day.
Drink?
I do, but I'd like to get a card from you, and I'd like to get the paperwork for turning that in. Those officers, repeatedly, I asked them. I also asked all the places that I called today and yesterday and the day before. I've been calling since I got here to find out how to get those body cameras. They kept on telling me I'm supposed to get a hold of a superior officer, and then they kept screwing around with the superior officer thing. I tried explaining how afraid I am. As far as taking it into court, I don't know if it's the same here as it is in Colorado and Nebraska, but after a situation, they're allowed to destroy the body camera evidence after a year. I need that body camera.
I think it's a little different here. It depends on what type of a case is it. If it's a criminal case, then yeah, there's different time limits on it. If it's a traffic case, again, there's different time limits. So,
well, I'm an at-risk and disabled adult, which makes it so that it's a little bit different.
Yeah,
that advances everything.
There are multiple different time limits for videos, and I would have to look up to see what those are, because I'm even confused about how long we have to keep them for and when we can get rid of them.
Well,
I can get you the paper, the form that you would need to fill out to get copies of videos. I
how
have
long
to go
would
back
that
to the
take?
office to get them.
I can be patient and wait for that. It's worth it.
Okay.
Besides that, you talk to me like I'm a person.
Well, do you need to go get something to drink?
I'm gonna be patient because if I go over to the supermart or whatever it's called, those people are always super nice to me, and I don't want them getting the impression that when you pulled up that I done something wrong, because that has happened before there.
I get it.
Not
I get it.
specifically there, but
Okay. Well, okay. So you want me to run back and get the form for you?
yes, sir. I'd like to get several of them because there's more than one body camera I'm gonna need to get, even though I don't have the money.
I think you can do it all in one form, but I'll get you some. Some forms. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Give me a few minutes because I have to figure out where they get hidden in the office, or where they get put at. Okay.
Well, it's better than an officer telling me stuff like, "Oh, well, it's a small town, so you tell us what it is and we'll write it down," or you tell us what happened and we'll decide if it's against the law, because I've got a list of things that if an officer says to me, I'm supposed to disengage the conversation immediately. And, anything of that sort. I actually try to teach people how to do that. I was a homeless liaison in Boulder, Colorado for 7 years.
Okay.
So I'm familiar with a lot of this stuff, just I'm more familiar with Colorado than with Oregon or any of the other places I've been.
All right, Sean, let me go back over there and I'll come back over here in a few minutes, okay?
All right.
That good?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, I'll be back shortly.
Oh, I'd also like to get 4 protection orders if you have them.
That we don't. You have to go to the
I have
court.
to go to
the
the clerk of the courts.
Yeah, we
Yep.
don't hold those here, so you have to go to the courthouse for those. Okay.
I figured on that one, but it's Oregon. I figured I'd ask if it's different here.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Thanks, sir. All right. Now that's what should have happened. All right, I might. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, that hurt a bit. Aries 106 typed happy birthday, Rebecca. All right. I make a big old out of it. I really do. He's absolutely right about they can have anyone trespass at any point in time, but there's also the fact that it shows collusion with those officers, and that's the important part. Police have a bad habit of absolving themselves of their own sins. The fact is, I am a disabled and at-risk adult, no matter how they cut the cake. I better actually start my car up, because if I don't, those things are gonna die on me, and I can't be having that. All right, there was enough to wet my whistle there anyway. This guy knew how many bodies were involved in this situation. press this with Claire. You know what's horrible? Find local resources, more information and support from. And who does it say to go to? autismspeaks.org. This paperwork here is actually from what do you call it? South Dakota. See what this says. Oh, come on. We're doing good, huh? All right. There we go. How is autism treated? It says, how is this treated? There is no cure for this condition, but treatment can make symptoms less severe. You mean like a safe environment where you're not abused? No, it's not just that. There's lots of things that it says to do here that I do my best to follow when I can. Right here, my paperwork says, get help right away if you are in a situation that threatens your life. Leave the situation and call emergency services, 911 in the U.S., as soon as possible. If you ever feel like your loved one may hurt himself or herself or others, or may have thoughts about taking his or her own life, get help right away. You can go to your nearest emergency department or call, and we've got calls in with Suicide Crisis Line and the new National Suicide Prevention Line. Both of them will literally push you to commit suicide. Or your local emergency services, which is 911. Well, I'm not sure if you noticed, but I'm a homeless person. Stuff sucks. Studies pending discharge. What's this about? The advanced directives paperwork. Vacation info. Discharge information. This one was the Sydney Regional Medical Center. This is the stuff that shows my T11 and T12 on certain chronicity. I don't know what that exactly means because I'm not a doctor.
Right, John.
Got some of my stuff on my back. I got stuff on autism so that people can actually learn something about it. I've got my diagnosis paperwork. I had to dig it out because that's what the ladies that were at First Steps were asking me for.
Okay.
After that guy left, they stopped caring if I was digging through for this stuff and just didn't want to look at it. So I've got it, you know,
Yep.
autism, my lumbar vertebrae stuff. It's got the stuff in here about the T11 and T12 vertebrae, and
Okay.
like, you know, it's not like I'm not doing what I'm asked to do. It's not like I'm not saving this stuff.
Well, looks like you got the right paperwork. All right, here's what you requested. I think I've got a number of copies in there. This is the actual form that you have to fill out for the public records request.
Okay.
And then attached to this is a copy of the City of Warrenton's policies, procedures on asking for public records requests. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the actual ordinance, and gives
I'm glad
everything
that
in
you
it.
did this instead of telling me it'll take an act of God, because I know that an act of God is not a legal procedure. You can continue. I'm sorry for interrupting
Yeah,
you.
no, I'm done actually. So
When
gives you all the information you need for it. Okay.
also, to help along with your investigation, I'd like to be able to get the audio recording stuff that I have to you as well, because it's just audio recording, and it's 6 or 7 different situations with the cops and multiple calls to the I have a stuttering problem, so I breathe. It's because my brain goes too fast for my mouth. So if I study,
are these recordings on
stutter, I
YouTube?
apologize. Yep, most of them are. The ones that are just on my audio recording device, though, it takes me forever to download it to YouTube, so no, they're not yet.
Okay. Are you able to use email?
I do try. The problem is it's the access.
Okay. The other thing, so let's see, if you can't get it to me through email, because you have my card, has my email address.
And I can certainly try that, absolutely.
If that doesn't work and you want me to have them, the other option that I could do is to connect it up to my computer and then just download them directly to the computer. But
That could work too, because they're connected to my computer. The problem that I have with my computer is getting a place to plug in the computer long enough to do that. So as far as just pulling them off the computer, I recorded about 30 different calls because, like I said, it wasn't just the situation with the cops. I had people coming and harassing me, people yelling at me while I wasn't able to record. I had people that were coming up to me and telling me how afraid of the police that they are and that they heard who I am. I had a couple other guys that were yelling at me, like that guy in that vehicle. I mean, it's been quite a couple of weeks, and I've had to be afraid to turn any of it into the cops.
So what I could do is I do have another laptop that I could meet with you on. If you wanted me to help download it, I could download them to that computer, and then I at least would have them, okay?
Well, they're already on my laptop. That's the thing. I took them off of my clandestine recording device. Now, the ones from today are, let me find the device, because the one from that place up there where literally I walked in and she said what she said and then I left, that was all of it.
Okay.
So, I mean, as far as today, as far as the times that I went in there before, I always record anytime I go in anywhere, if at all possible.
Okay.
And that's the thing that I tell everybody is that I do record. I am recording. It does
It's like
need
we're
to be
recording, right?
Yes, sir. I have to. I'm a disabled and at-risk adult. Anybody can call me mentally ill at any point in time, try to infer that I'm schizophrenic or delusional. Also, on my channel, you might want to write this down, but I'm not going to make you. Let me make sure I get the video. The lady's name is Marcia Estrada, and she is my mental health case worker from Colorado. She states outright that I'm not schizophrenic. I will forward the stuff from her to you. This is, oh, I typed it wrong. Marcia Estrada. All right, so she was my mental health worker in Colorado. It's called Marcia Estrada, LIMHP, talking about Cindy Taylor, Jen Beebe, Tamara, and DaCosta. DaCosta's sheriff in Chapel, Nebraska. He's actually a lot better at being a sly guy than the officers in Tillamook are. But he got busted too. Multiple people in connection with Scott DaCosta and the crimes committed against me are currently in prison for, 3 of the officers are in prison for sexual assault. 2 of the officers in Colorado over the Natalie case are in connection with the Natalie case, they committed crimes against me. They're now in prison for manslaughter. A lot of this stuff is verifiable by the news. But Marcia Estrada, LIMHP, talking about Cindy Taylor, Jen Beebe, Tamara, and DaCosta. The very front of that is the cover letter. It has my diagnosis on it, what I am actually diagnosed with. It also says in this, you can hear her voice talking about the other people involved, that she does know them, that they didn't do their job. They did a piss poor job if they did. She also states clearly, very loudly and clearly, that I am not schizophrenic, I am not delusional, I am not bipolar, and I'm also not psychotic.
Okay.
The thing is that I'm overwhelmed. I have post-traumatic stress disorder, Tourette syndrome. Obviously, I only winked at you a couple of times and only did this with my wrist a couple of times while we were here. My stuttering problem wasn't too much of an issue while we were here. But a lot of people, as soon as any one of those happens, that's when they jump on it and start slamming heavy on it. You know, basically, when they realize that I have a communication issue, they prey on it. I don't envy him. But I also have the thing from Marcia Estrada to forward. Also, another thing is, because of the abuse that happened in Tillamook and the fact that they literally made me run through all these hoops where I was bullied by everybody all the way up the line. And I was told there the same thing that I was told by the officers here. The sheriff and the police chief are not going to investigate anything. They're not going to look at anything. When I go to try to get a hold of the agencies I'm supposed to about these situations, these different agencies tell me, well, we can't do anything until you've gone through the proper channels, which when they're obstructing justice in a situation like, well, Natalie's case with the murder there, and with the case here in Tillamook, and of course the situation there with me trying to get help, do you understand how this scares me?
Yeah, I can see it.
I was trying to explain to you the fact that it has happened across multiple jurisdictions. I am disabled. I do have my disability paperwork. I do get paid disability money. When it comes to mandated reporting, the accusation of abuse is enough to get an investigation started. And by law, all of these mandated reporters should know that mandated reporter laws are not just for children. Some of these people are so untrained they had to look it up on Google, and Google doesn't tell them exactly how it is, specifically for their state. It gives them an in general. So for me, being bullied and harassed and intimidated into moving across multiple jurisdictions, you know, that's a federal thing. And as far as the federal thing goes, because I'm disabled, I'm supposed to go to a place like First Steps, who's supposed to help me process this so that I can go to a local law enforcement agency, so the local law enforcement agency can get it sent to where it needs to go.
Okay.
If they have, I'm trying to remember the legal terminology of it, but basically if they think that there was a reasonable suspicion that a crime was committed. There's also the situation with me being sent back to police officers and their departments for me to get intimidated by those officers for trying to turn it in. Thank you for not doing that, by the way. Also, I'm not sure if you can tell, but I'm a little overwhelmed right now, and I'm lightheaded.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to try to
calm down and go get some water or get something to drink.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, I can get out of your way so you can calm down, because I know that I probably make you a little bit nervous. So.
Well, not so much you, it's the badge. If you're a good cop, I will come back to you about everything.
Okay.
I'm not interested in harming anyone. I am absolutely down with saving children and saving adults. I've got multiple situations, multiple jurisdictions, and in all of them they did the same thing as that guy in the red vehicle did, as well as the officer, what was it, McCoy, trying to run me off. And you know, I'm not hurting anybody or trying to hurt anybody. I'm just scared.
Yep.
When I'm screaming that the other day, I was half expecting one of you guys to show up and clap me in irons for screaming back at that guy.
No, just because you might scream a little bit doesn't actually mean you're going to get clamped up.
Well, it has meant that I've been clamped up before. Also, officers like to twist my words when I say that I'm trying to turn in officers and sexual predators and people who abuse children. Usually the first thing that I get is the mentally ill treatment. Okay. And I'm sure you know how much that sucks.
Yeah.
There's a difference between a violent schizophrenic and somebody who is an autistic person who is at risk in being abused and can't take care of themselves.
Yep.
Well, thank you,
right.
Mr. Pierce. Can I call you Mr. Pierce, or should I call you Officer? What do you prefer?
You can call me whatever you want. I'm good with Mr. Pierce or Officer Pierce. It doesn't matter. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, calm down and go get you something to drink so you're not lightheaded.
Thank you, sir. Also, after I've had a traumatic experience, my brain is usually fragmented for about 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
With me not having an autism advocate, I don't have anybody to explain that to the courts. It's just a traffic ticket. They're probably going to let this go, but they'll want the 120 something bucks, and I can give them part of that and do the payments thing. I'm just not sure if my words are going to come out right. And okay. Like I said, I had to go through the same thing in Tillamook that I had to go through here, but I was there for 10 months.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, sounds like you just need to take a couple of deep breaths and calm down, and then go get yourself something to drink, okay?
Yes, sir. Those are things you're not supposed to say to somebody in crisis, but obviously I'm pretty calm right now, so we're doing all right.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Be safe.
Take care, Sean. You want your door open or shut?
I'm gonna leave it open because, like I said, I've been getting pretty dehydrated.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good night.
All right, you two, you see that? Now that is definitely far more respectful. He definitely talked to me more like a human being. That's a good start. He wasn't rude or inconsiderate. He wasn't bullying me in a mean and cruel fashion. He did interrupt a couple of times, but he treated me like he is trained in de-escalation, actual de-escalations, instead of bullying the way those officers did. That stuff was absolutely not necessary. I'm also in a lot of pain, so there is that. I'm gonna try to fill out as much as I can. Autism spectrum disorder stuff. There's a lot of. That's not what I was showing them though. I was maybe this one. No, that's folded in half. It's from a different set. No changes were made to your medications, which is funny. I wasn't on medications. Your next scheduled appointment. Read these. Come on. Read these attachments. Autism spectrum. And they didn't want to do that. This is entirely inappropriate. It shows community blackballing. See, there's the legal definitions, and we could have gone through all of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type up what each of them situations was. Yes, officers are good. Wrong. Well, that depends on which officer. I've seen good cops on TV. Maybe this cop here is the one real one. Maybe he's the one good one. Maybe. It happens. I'm right to a small country. Yes, I am able to send him stuff over emails. And I'm absolutely going to. And while I'm at it, I'm going to slip in 3 child molesters, 2 rapists, and a couple of wife beaters. That also happen to be sex offenders. At least I admit that I'm mean. I also admit that I fuck up sometimes. Don't tell anybody. Huh? I don't really want to end the video, but I'm gonna because my battery needs to charge. Thank goodness Peterson, or not Peterson, what the fuck is his name? James Pierce, Sergeant. You know how we end these videos? Good to be radio. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind. You're also your sister's keeper too. Even if your sister happens to be Ashley or Brandy, even if your name happens to be Leslie or Tara, you are your sister's keeper. Even if she's angry at you and slanders your name and wants the whole world to come crashing down around you, I don't care if she's your worst enemy. When your sister disappears, you go fucking find her.